Hello everyone, my name is Min and I am your dead DM. So my shitty little hometown got this awesome new arcade thing that I'm showing in this opening clip. We don't have many fun things to do, but that's super cool. So welcome back to another Artfight vlog of 2021. I got really sick out of nowhere, so forgive me for still being very low energy in this video. But today I'm going to be giving you a story time. The story time is about why I hate the 4th of July. I promise this video isn't political. Please don't leave. So, I think it's more accurate to say that this is a video about why I hate fireworks. I didn't always hate fireworks. I really used to enjoy the shapes and colors, but the big bombs have always thrown me off. Being from a rural southern town, we love firearms and explosives down here. People will start popping fireworks off like 2 weeks before July, which, you know, it can be really troubling if you don't live in a safe neighborhood. I get really anxious when I hear just pop, pop, pop from overhead. I originally became very cautious of fireworks and the sounds after my dad came back from his deployment to Afghanistan. My dad was deployed to Afghanistan in 2013 to 2014, which was my senior year of high school. And at the time, my dad and I we were pretty close. Like, he would still bully the shit out of me, but like, he cared and stuff. So he came back from deployment and had really bad PTSD, was very, as the military used to call it, shell shock. So I got in the habit of announcing when I walked into a room with him, and I would text him on holidays when fireworks would happen and see if he was okay. This is kind of where the anthology of why I'm scared of fireworks started. About 2 years later, in the summer of 2016, that's where I got my first big yikes. When my Gagari, which is what I called my dad's father, was alive, he lived half a mile up the road from our house. I don't remember every detail of this specific day, but I do remember being home and I got a phone call, and it was one of those phone calls where the moment you answer, you know something terrible is happening or has happened. My grandfather's house had been caught fire up the street. So after talking to my mom, I slipped on my sneakers and I started running up the road. I only made it down our driveway before my cousins happened to be coming by on their way to the carnage and just picked me up in their car. We arrived pretty soon after the ambulance left, and the house was still up in flames. It was the house that my grandmother had always wanted built, and it was just there burning in front of all of us, along with the things she had left behind. My grandfather lived through the fire, and he told us the story of his perspective of what happened, where he was just doing his normal daily routine, and he heard what sounded like party crackers. I'll show a picture on screen of what I'm talking about exactly. They're like the mini tiny firecrackers that still make a really loud pop sound. He heard that sound, or what he thought was that sound, outside in the garage. And his brain connected. The only thing that made sense was surely my father was outside with little party crackers, throwing them to get my grandfather's attention. Now, I know that sounds like a crazy out of left field thing for any normal human being to assume, but this is completely in character of what my dad is like. So anyway, that's the sound he heard. He thought my dad was outside being dumb in the garage. Gagari got up and made his way to the garage, and when he opened the door, flames and smoke that had been building in the garage rushed past him, ignited by the oxygen in the rest of the house, and just filled the entire house with flames and smoke. And the sounds that he heard in the garage was the sounds of bullet casing from inside the gun safe getting heated and exploding. That honestly, that's a pretty ongoing part of my trauma with fireworks and guns being connected sound-wise in my brain. Not going too much into detail, I had a really bad issue with part of my living situation in 2016 and 17, and I came out of that way more jumpy and nervous when it came to anything gun-related. I'm not as comfortable telling that story, which is saying a lot considering some of the next stories I'm about to share, but we're just gonna skip over it and tell you that I was a little bit more frazzled. I got a little bit more freaked out. And then what happened in 2018 came around. So this next story, you see in late 2017, my dad was deployed again, but this time to Romania. To my knowledge, Romania is one of the countries that the US military has a presence in because it's been requested of us. This is also true of Canada and British presence on the same military base with Romanian soldiers. Though if I remember right, at least when I was there, the Canadians and the Brits would switch off seasonally. Because Romania wasn't a hostile location, my mom and I were allowed to come and stay with my dad while he was deployed. So in the wintertime, we were living in Constanta, Romania, in November, December, and the very beginning of January. Now, I won't focus too much on that story, the overall Romania story. It was 3 months of living in another country, not including 3 more months when I went back. I'm telling you about firework trauma. So, the new year came around. Going into 2018, the city of Constanta had set up fireworks across the whole city. We were staying in an apartment building next to the Irish pub looking at the Black Sea. My room had a balcony, and leading up to the fireworks, I was enjoying a very beautiful view of the Black Sea and contemplating the next things coming up in my life. And then they started. The fireworks started flying up into the sky, or at least most of them did. One of the fireworks set up next to our building. The firework set off and rocketed up and then got caught on the edge of a building. So these buildings were concrete, and the firework was literally flying into the concrete of the building, and it left a pretty terrifying scorch mark. And hearing the story from before, I have a lot of burning building trauma, so the whole time I was watching this, freaking out, absolutely freaking out. And then the firework died out, because those don't go forever, and I relaxed a little bit until the next round of fireworks set off, and it did it again. This felt like several horrifying hours of watching fireworks fly against our building, and God, if that didn't kick off 2018 exactly how the rest of the year would go. The next kind of scary event that furthered my firework gun trauma, this event happened February 3rd, 2018. I remember this one day-wise. I remember this very well. At the time, I was living in an apartment house in Savannah with one of my best friends. It was it wasn't a nice area, but it wasn't super sketchy. It wasn't one of the really sketchy areas in Savannah. So, it was a nice enough place to live. And it was late, and I was sitting at my desk, just drawing, working, probably listening to Junkie or Spoctor Theory, that time of 2018 when I got really into DA ranters and listening to them while I worked. And then the strangest thing happened, and a gunshot went off. I felt completely frozen for several minutes. And then I slowly, when I heard, there was a lot of yelling and talking. And then when I heard police sirens, I finally got up and snuck up to the front of our house, and one of our neighbors had been shot. And from what I remember, the police told us that there had been a party, and something just got a little out of hand, and one of the guys shot the other. Super unnerving, right? But honestly, unfortunately, that is not the scariest part of the story for me, and this gets kind of messed up. So, the reason I remember this date, the date of this event, is because the next day was the Super Bowl. Eagles versus the Patriots. I am not a football fan at all, but my roommate is a huge Eagles fan, and so we were throwing a Super Bowl party that night. And the morning after that shooting, I was still personally a little shooken up. And, that morning of the 4th, that Sunday morning of the 4th, a package had arrived. How strange, right? Sunday morning? A package? Mail doesn't run on Sundays. It was a nondescript brown box with, it was addressed to me, my name on it. But it didn't have a sender. Nothing. And so, as you do when you get a package, I opened the box. Inside of this box was just a mannequin head. Inside this box, addressed to me, was a singular mannequin head. Now, I don't know about many other people, but I'm terrified of mannequins. And even if you're not terrified of mannequins, what other creepiest possible thing could have happened? Your neighbors across the street have a little shootout during a party. And you chat with the police when they come knocking on the door. And the next morning, a mannequin head arrives addressed to you. On a day where mail doesn't run. Mail does not run on Sundays. I was broken the rest of the day. I was trying so hard to hold it together for the party without scaring any of my friends, but that has fucked me up forever. Now, of course, it was not the first time bad things had happened to me. I texted my parents, I let them know what happened. We used to have a group chat, so I texted mom and dad at the same time, and I found out several days later who had sent me the head. A confession, really. Somehow, my father, while still in Romania, thought it would be a good idea to send his child, a child who has always been very loud and vocal about their hatred of mannequins. He decided it would be funny to send that child a mannequin head. So I hate fireworks. It's just amping trauma continuously about fireworks. And it's not like I can't have fun and shoot fireworks with friends. This past January, New Year's, I put in some earplugs in my D&D group, hung out with my mom, and we did a small little firework thing at her house. But the 4th of July is hell. Where I live day to day is not I would not be surprised if someone walked up to me and said, hey, there was a shooting 2 blocks down from where you live. That's not unnormal for where I am currently. But I don't feel scared living here day to day, unless I hear explosions. So, if you follow me on Twitter, you may have seen where I had a little freak out a few days ago, because after the 4th, there were unsupervised children walking down the road, and they were lighting and throwing firecrackers and little fireworks into people's yards and the road just in the middle of the day. And that had me messed up all day. All day that had me messed up. And I guess in summary, I'm left wondering about how many firework and gun traumas I'll have to have before I need to worry about PTSD. And that being said, thank you for sticking around. I hope you've liked this kind of Artfight story time. It's not it is exactly like this Artfight vlog, but I figured maybe a story time would be a little bit more fun, even though I picked the most uncomfortable topic ever. So right now scrolling is some of the Artfight attacks that I've received. I've been really sick these past few days, so I'm hoping to jump back into the fray really soon. So thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please consider subscribing. I'm trying for my first actual goal. I want to reach 500 subs by the end of 2021. My channel is a variety channel, so I want to make whatever. I'll do gaming content, art content, commentary every now and then. So if you want to join in on that, I'd love to have you along. Until next time, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you have a wonderful day.